What's going on, guys? This is Ryan with the RK Outpost, and when it was announced that Mel Gibson had landed a role in the John Wick prequel series, the woke mob had a very predictable response. They got triggered. They screamed, they moaned, they cried, they whined. They were so upset that Mel Gibson, someone who said some regrettable things nearly 15 years ago and apologized for those things, they're upset that he got a job, that he got another job that basically makes what, like, 2 roles that he's had in Hollywood in the past 5 or 6 years. Mel Gibson has been persona non grata for so long, and because he gets a few roles, you people are triggered. They want to say, well, if Mel Gibson's still alive, if his family can still eat, then obviously cancel culture doesn't exist. This is so unfair. These people are delusional. These people are losers. These people are fucking pieces of garbage. And we're gonna laugh at some of the things they said, some of the salt that they put out there on Twitter, and of course, in a lot of articles and things like that. But let's get to it because there are a lot of people that are excited about this. And spoiler alert, that's the reason why this is happening. Mel Gibson got cast in this because despite all of the noise that a lot of these Twitter weirdos may make, a lot of people like seeing Mel Gibson. There's a lot of Mel Gibson fans, and a lot of people like seeing him in movies. That is why he got cast in this. Mel Gibson, first star set for John Wick Origin Series, The Continental for Starz and Lionsgate Television. Mel Gibson has been set to star in The Continental, the prequel to the Keanu Reeves series John Wick. The Continental will be presented as a 3-night special event TV series produced for Starz by Lionsgate Television. The Continental will explore the origin behind the Hotel for Assassins, which increasingly has become the centerpiece of the John Wick universe. This will be accomplished through the eyes and actions of young Winston Scott, who's dragged into the hellscape of a 1975 New York City to face a past he thought he left behind. Winston charts a deadly course through the New York's mysterious underworld in a harrowing attempt to seize the iconic hotel, which serves as a meeting point for the world's most dangerous criminals. No word yet on who will play Winston Scott. Gibson will play a character named Cormac. And it's not predicted that John Wick's going to make any appearance. The timeline doesn't really make sense, although he may get on to produce. No one's quite sure yet. But the bottom line is that Mel Gibson has been cast in this series, The Continental. He'll play a character named Cormac. And that was enough to make everybody lose their minds. Here's a vulture. Well, Mel Gibson is starring in the John Wick prequel, The Continental. The first actor to join the cast is Mel Gibson, who you might recognize from Mad Max, Braveheart, or his history with anti-Semitic, sexist, and racist comments. That's the first sentence. The first sentence of this is that. I will tell you flat out, the vast majority of people do not associate Mel Gibson with that. The people who do are woke Twitter weirdos who take something that happened 14 or 15 years ago that he profusely apologized for. He literally went out and made apologies to rabbis, to the ADL, to the Anti-Defamation League. But that's not good enough for anybody, which is why you should never really apologize, because they don't care. They do not care if you apologize, because it's never enough. Because a decade and a half later, they're still going to be talking about it when you get cast in any role whatsoever. Gibson is set to star in The Continental, like we talked about. The fact that this is only 2 paragraphs, and the first sentence in the first paragraph is that. Basically calling him an anti-Semite, a sexist, and a racist. What about this one? Brinkwire, Mel Gibson's John Wick TV role is causing a stir among the fans. And of course, we've got pop culture. Mel Gibson's John Wick TV role has fans up in arms. On Monday, news broke that Mel Gibson has been cast as the lead in the upcoming John Wick spin-off series, The Continental. And fans were completely perplexed. Gibson has a long history of abusive behavior, outspoken bigotry, and lackluster apologies. Many flooded social media with commentary on the casting decision. So that's how the entire media decides to frame this. We can't believe that Mel Gibson got hired because of these things that he said in the past. You know what it ironically reminds me of is about a year ago, and this article from geeksandgamers.com. Who is this guy? Ryan Kinel. Oh, that's right. Back October 9th of 2020. So that was the last time that it was announced that Mel Gibson was cast in something. That's it. Fat Man, right? That Santa Claus movie that, a lot of people enjoyed. They say, oh, interesting take on the Santa Claus story. But when this happened, people freaked out. And here's just a little recap from what I said. This is a year ago. 14 years ago, Mel Gibson was pulled over for a DUI in California, but that isn't what people are mad about. Records of his encounter with the police revealed that while drunk, he used racist and anti-Semitic language towards one of the officers. After the fallout, Gibson issued several apologies, including directly to the Jewish community through the Anti-Defamation League. Genuine or not, this apology was not enough, and his efforts to make amends were not enough. He became Hollywood kryptonite for years, being cast in very few projects for the next decade. After 14 years and his efforts to atone, normal people may find it normal that a talented actor would find work again. But Twitter is not full of normal people, and this is very true today again. So let's go back. Let's check out Twitter. David M. Perry, if cancel culture were real, then why Mel Gibson? So you're asking me, all right, so you want to know if cancel culture is real. We're going to go through these things. You can just look Mel Gibson's name on Twitter and see the cancer that is out there about him and what people are saying. All they care about, right? They don't care about anything he said. They don't care about apologies. They don't care about any of that. They don't care about the fact that he's not nearly at the same level in Hollywood as he was when these things happened. All they want to do is, I can't believe you hired someone who said this, who said that, who said this, who said that. All things over a fucking decade ago is what they're pointing out. But no, cancel culture doesn't exist. There's just organized mobs of people that go out there to try to get someone fired when they do get a role. Give me a break. Cancel culture is real. Whether it's successful or not depends on each and every iteration. In the case of someone like Gina Carano, they sure as shit got her fired. These weirdo activists on Twitter got her fired, along with a lot of the people within Lucasfilm itself. But you can't sit here and say that it doesn't exist. Idiots like this I wish I could use the right word, but I won't, because then it'll get brought up 10 years later, so we won't do that. Aaron Bibba. Fuck every single person involved in this decision. This person from Canada. Mel Gibson is back. Colin Kaepernick isn't. Says a lot, doesn't it? Jesus. Mel Gibson is still a talented actor. He was an effective quarterback at times in the NFL, but he was bad. He actually got benched. That's when he decided to start doing all these things. And a lot of people made efforts to go see if he could do it, and guess what? He wasn't interested. Colin Kaepernick is better off as a professional victim than an average NFL player, and he knows it. You have no idea what you're talking about. Mel Gibson deserves to stay canceled. And then this, of course, is a long list of things. All the bad things Mel Gibson's ever said in his life. All the bad things he's ever said. We have to hold it all against him right now. Always. He can never work again. But yeah, cancel culture isn't real. I can't believe y'all still fix your mouths saying cancel culture when Mel Gibson is still out here getting paid. A thread of reminders about who Mel Gibson really is. Again, none of the apologies matter. Just so you know, all these things that Mel Gibson has apologized for, has said, I regret saying that, I didn't mean that, I'm not that person. It doesn't matter. Apologizing does nothing for the woke mob, because they don't bring up his apologies, do they? All they bring up are the things that he said in the past. Another person trying to compare it to Colin Kaepernick, that is the dumbest comparison I could possibly imagine. But I want to go down to right here. This last paragraph that I wrote a year ago. Maybe the last two paragraphs. The question that this outrage raised for me was simple. Is there ever enough a person can do? Is there any possible path to atonement for Mel Gibson or anyone who makes a similar mistake? It seems to me that there is never enough, no apology, no groveling that could ever allow him simply to exist and do his job. It seems like a few mistakes over 10 years ago are enough to unperson him for life. There's no doubt that Mel Gibson made mistakes, and he acknowledged all of them. Whether people believed he's changed or not, or that he'll always be the way he is up to each individual. But the cancel culture mob doesn't care if you change or not. They will continue to pile on at every opportunity, even 14 years later. If that's the standard, why would anyone even try? I, for one, am excited about this film, and the fact that it triggers woke SJWs only increases my interest, and I'll say the same thing. about this John Wick prequel series. Just the fact that Mel Gibson is involved and that he triggered these lunatics and that I like Mel Gibson as an actor, that's enough to interest me, and I'm going to be following this project. This is insane. Mel Gibson deserves to be able to get work in Hollywood and not have a mob come after him, consistently trying to get him canceled over and over again. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Smash a like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications, share this video out there, and I'll talk to you later. Thanks for watching, everyone, and a huge shout out to my patrons. I appreciate you guys so much. Want to follow me on Twitter or Instagram? Check out the description below. You'll find links to my P.O. box and my Patreon as well. I'll talk to you guys later.